Oh, ho, ho, Bills Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of Don Mafia Live. I did see something on Good Morning Football today where there was like this giant segment, 10 to 15 minutes worth of, is this a make or break year for the Buffalo Bills? And surprise, surprise, that is not the first time that I myself have heard this, or you have heard this for the most part. This has been a giant narrative surrounding the Bills ever since our most recent loss to the Cincinnati Bengals in the playoffs just this past year. So I thought today what I wanted to do is I kind of wanted to look at exactly where the Buffalo Bills stand as far as pending free agents, salary cap moving forward into the coming years, and then also compare it to some of our division rivals, right? The Jets, what exactly does their free agency issue look like next year? Are they going to lose a lot of players, or are they going to still thrive off of the youth that they've had with this team? What about the Miami Dolphins? Same exact thing. So I thought that we would sit here and discuss whether or not, is this the Buffalo Bills make it or break it year? We're going to figure that out together. Make sure that when you come in, smash that like button for me. If you did not check out the Don Mafia live show at 11 a.m. EST, I am going live every single Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST, where I give you all of the late and breaking NFL news. I have a bunch of different YouTube creators that cover the NFL join the show to cover various topics. For example, I had with TD Finn's talk on the show today to give me his record prediction of 2023. Surprisingly enough, it was actually respectable, was actually respectable. You actually see a side of TD Finns talk that's more of like TD Sports talk. So I think you would enjoy that. We also ended up covering the whole with the Andrew Luck controversy. If you saw something earlier today where the Commanders allegedly were tampering with him, I had somebody on from the Bring the Juice podcast, my good buddy Derek. He's a Colts YouTuber. He discussed that, and then we talked a little bit about the Buffalo Bills Stadium. So make sure if you want to tune in, and if you want to hear some more stuff, make sure you tune in every single Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST. Subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications. I'm super excited with this show that we are about to give you. Okay? So, Bills Mafia. This is the one thing that I feel like I need to put into all of our faces. And by no means am I trying to cause havoc or worry. Because I will be the first person to tell you, as long as Josh Allen is on our team, as long as we continue to draft well, as long as we find good pieces that can go into it, we're always going to be competitive. But being competitive is not the same thing as a Super Bowl contender. So this is what I wanted to point out to everybody as we take a look. I'm going to go ahead and just share my entire screen here. We're going to go, here it is. All right. So as you can see, the first thing I want to check out, first thing I absolutely wanted to check out was the Buffalo Bills free agents going into 2024. Let me go ahead and mix this up a little bit so you guys can see this a little better. All right, so this is 2024. And like you said, we've probably heard this time in and time again, that next year is going to be terrible. We're going to have to make a lot of very difficult decisions going into the offseason. So let's just read some of these damn names that we have that are going to be up on free agency next year. Okay, so we have Micah Hyde. Yes, we got Poyer back. Yes, Hyde is getting like up there in age. He'll be 30. He'll be 33, 34 by that time that comes in. Then we have Daquan Jones. First off, let's just take a look at all these defensive tackles that are going up, right? I'm thinking that we'll probably bring back a couple, but these are just the pending unrestricted free agents. We have Daquan Jones, integral part of that defensive interior. Ed Oliver, of course, which I know some Bills fans are even more so in the mentality of they kind of wanted to ship him off this year. And then also we have Tim Settle, who didn't really necessarily live up to the expectations I was hoping for, at least. Jordan Phillips, who not particularly sure why he is listed as a defensive end. That's another defensive tackle. And then we also have Tyler Matekovich, very integral part right to our special teams linebacker. Dane Jackson, more DB depth gone. Same thing with Dotson. We have Taylor Rapp, who we just signed. Sherfield, if he's even going to make the team. Damian Harris from this running back situation as well. AJ Epinesa is a unrestricted free agent. Shaq Lawson, AJ Klein, Latavius Murray, Cam Lewis, Ike Bucker, Gabriel Davis, Poona Ford. That's where we're standing right now, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we're standing right now as far as free agents that are going to be up for a contract renewal, or maybe they're just going to go on ahead and then they're going to figure that out. But here's the thing, right? It's, can we afford to bring any of these guys back? Well, let's take a look at our salary cap. Let's take a look at our salary cap going into it. 2023, we're currently sitting at about $4.9 million. That's over the cap. And this is just a rough estimation of what it's going to look like. But here's 2024. Let's take a look about where we stand. We are negative $23 million in the hole as of right now. So I'm not sure if you can see that little figure right off to the right. I'm going to go ahead and X out of this. I'm going to X out of that little advertisement right then and there. But right now we're looking at negative $23 million out of all of those free agents that I just ended up listing off. Now, am I under the impression that Brandon Beane is going to be able to like work his magic like usual, bring us over the cap, and maybe we'll be able to bring in a couple of free agent pieces next offseason? 110% I am. But when you revert back to that free agent list, which we're about to right now, there's not a single man on this face of the planet that's going to tell me that we're going to be suffering some blows next year, right? Biggest names I could see, I see Micah Hyde. Then I see with Damian Harris. Gabe Davis is going to be one as well. Just, dude, a lot of very, very good names are going to be up, particularly like our entire starting defensive tackle room on the defensive interior. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very interesting. So you have that from the Buffalo Bills free agency, where our overall cap space is at. And like I said, I'm not going to back off of this hill. I will die on this hill. As long as we have Josh Allen on this team, we have a shot. We're going to be competitive. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to do that. But that's so much different than being a Super Bowl contender. And the first place you have to start off at is your division, 110%. So what I did is I also wanted to take a look at a couple of different teams for us, see where they compare to us. Because face it or not, folks, this is rough. This is very, very rough. But this New York Jets team is going to be a thorn in our side for the next couple of years. This year coming up is probably going to be the year where I can confidently say that the Buffalo Bills on paper are better than the Jets. And it's by a very thin margin. It's by a very, very thin margin. And the reason why I think that the Jets are going to be even scarier, of course, I'm sitting here just going on ahead and I'm talking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be hosting Jeopardy. Is not going to be hosting Jeopardy by this time next offseason, and he actually moves forward with his contract 2-3 years down the road. And he still has some semblance of play. But let's take a look at their free agents real fast in 2024. Okay. First off, this team is built on youth. A lot of their star players are still on rookie contracts, just to give you an idea. But honestly, it's what I'm looking at, all of these players that are really going to be something that might be an issue for them. Maybe Carl Lawson. I mean, say, for example, that he's able to stay healthy. Corey Davis, I really don't see that being much of an issue on their end. I think that they have plenty of help on the wide receiver room. I think with the Quinnen Williams situation, that might be interesting as well. But when I'm looking over some of these names, I see enough youth where they could easily bring these guys back for contracts going into it. Really. I mean, I'm just looking at a lot of this situation, and I think that the Jets are in a much better position free agency-wise than the Buffalo Bills. And right to go on ahead and then tie it up into this, wrap it up in a nice little bow. They're currently $7 million over the cap in 2024. So you know that they're going to be able to turn that into an easy, I would say, an absolute easy, like $25, $28 million in overall cap spend when it comes down into it. So it's rough. And I mean, just for shits and giggles, let's go on ahead and let's type in, let's figure out exactly sort of where the Dolphins are as well, which is essentially our AFC East. Have to look into it. Free agents, we'll do 2024. Yeah, right as you can see, I'm really not seeing a lot of huge names that could be gone because they are also built on some pretty solid youth. Right here, I'll go ahead and zoom in so everyone has an idea of what this looks like. I'm really not seeing a lot of big names outside of Wilkins, Zach, and Braxton Berrios, who is even, that DB might be interesting. But one of the good things about the Dolphins is the fact that they're not in much of a great salary cap situation either going into 2024, sitting at negative $35 million going into the season by itself. So really the way that I look at all of this is that we have a very difficult stretch ahead of us going into the 2024 season. But then at the same time, we also probably have one of the hardest schedules in the entire NFL. So on this stream today, if you come to any conclusion at all, the Buffalo Bills need to take this home this year. We absolutely need to. I showed you the free agents that are up for contract next year. I showed you what our cap space is looking like going in right to that following offseason. Like I said, I'm confident Brandon Beane will be able to work some magic, but there's no way that we're going to be able to bring back all of our integral players. There's going to be a lot of holes on this roster next year. This year is going to be the most complete our team is going to be for the next 3 to 4 years in that window. So yes, I entirely agree with you. I believe this is our last year as a Super Bowl contender, at least until we fix this overall cap space. Mini rebuild situation, unless Brandon Beane is able to literally hit the head on every single draft pick moving forward. I'm not saying that our window is closed and being a playoff contender and winning the AFC East and doing that. I'm talking Super Bowl contender. When you look at Super Bowl contenders, very minimal holes. From the Buffalo Bills standpoint, that's where we're at right now. That is where we are at. We have the minimal amount of holes where I would consider us to be Super Bowl contenders. Next year, not so much. Not unless our draft class this year has one offensive rookie of the year and then 2 or 3 that got really close into Pro Bowl voting and they go into their sophomore year and they absolutely just kill it, right? We're not going to be seeing a lot of splash plays next year in free agency. So the Buffalo Bills need to hit this year. We definitely do. So for the rest of this stream, guys, I wanted to go on ahead and sort of rip it back into the Q&A portion of this show. Right before we do that, though, I do need to show you guys some pretty awesome stuff. So I've been playing around with artificial intelligence quite a bit, and I love the NFL. I love man cave stuff, like really good art stuff. So me and a couple of buddies, we created this first ever NFL-inspired artificial intelligence art gallery, and we just launched it online, and I wanted to show you at least one portrait. Every single Friday from here on out, we are dropping 5 new images. It's going to be NFL related, but of course, I'm going to be giving you at least a little bit of sprinkle of Bills content since I love you guys. I'm a Bills fan, and that's what I enjoy creating. But I got to show you this one right here that we just dropped. This is a part of our Buffalo Bills mascot collection, if you will. It's crazy because artificial intelligence literally painted this. I just ended up having it from the dark corners of my mind. And then this is exactly what it is. So say, for example, you're getting sick of your girlfriend or your wife or your mom, who cares? They're complaining about the stuff that is hung on the wall in one of the rooms in your house. This is very tasteful stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of other things like that. So if you are interested, it's mancavefineart.com. And then you can go on ahead and just check that out and say that you do. Tweet me a picture of it, man. We're super excited for what we're doing, and we absolutely would love to hear your feedback going into it, which is definitely awesome. All right, guys, listen, I wanted to go on ahead and I wanted to revert into the Q&A portion of this episode. What are your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills Super Bowl window? What is your concerns? Sound off in the live chat. I'm seeing a lot of names in here who also were present for the Dom Mafia 11 a.m. show earlier today. Thank you so much for coming back. We have Pokemon Professor, long time no see. I have seen Miami and the Jets get better this offseason. They certainly have, man. They certainly have. I still think the Bills are a better team. I really, really do. But this is the year where we need to capitalize. We need to win the division. No, fuck it. Honestly, I want to win the division. We need to win the division. But say that we get in a wild card spot and just go on a huge Super Bowl run. I don't care how we win the Super Bowl. We need to win the Super Bowl this year. 110%. That's just how all of this is sort of fluctuating. We have the delusional Patriots fan in here, a regular viewer. Thank you so much for coming on. Yes, the clock is ticking, and the Patriots are coming for you bums. Listen, I love the trash talk. I definitely love the trash talk going into it. Definitely super cool. But, dude, I'd say the Patriots are further behind than the Buffalo Bills. Although, your cap space is pretty good. But will Bill Belichick ever invest in some weapons for his young quarterback? Or is he planning on just starting fresh? Is Belichick planning on tanking this season and just going all in on Caleb Williams out of USC? We may never know. Okay, we have Calvin Tim saying, yo, I think that's my dad. I think you may have been talking about the Buffalo Bills mascot collection. Very interesting. If that's the case, listen, man, buy it for your dad for Father's Day. Beautiful thing. Okay, Nick C. The goal every season is to make the playoffs and be healthy. When the playoffs start, from that point, anything can happen. That's a great take. Myself and TD Finstock were talking about this the other day, and a lot of what's going to decide this division is based off of how the NFL schedules out all of our opponents. We've seen our opponents, right? We've seen our opponents, but how are they going to schedule it? Which team is going to have the gauntlet, like the absolute gauntlet of 5 to 6 games straight, where it's just heavy hitter after heavy, after heavy hitter after heavy hitter? That's how it has to be. The Buffalo Bills need to make sure that health is at the highest priority. I think training staff needs to spend those extra hours right in the massage room, making sure that it's monitored, they're healthy. Each and every single player is fully stretched. I mean, be a damn third grade PE coach if you need to be, and just completely helicopter over these athletes and make sure that they are prepared to go in at game damn speed. Okay, we have Jersey Dolphins coming in saying, as long as Tua remains healthy, the division is ours, man. Yep. Hey, man. Some strong words from Jersey Dolphins. Man, listen, I'm very excited to see how this is all going to play out this year. Very, very excited to see how this plays out this year. Good old Tua, baby. That's just how it works. Calvin, I am not worried about the Jets in the future. They will just get stuck in the same quarterback cycle once Rodgers retires or gets hurt. I've seen a lot of people attempt to compare this move to the Brett Favre situation that happened in 2008 and 2009 when he went out there, won 7 straight games, then he got hurt and it was over with. I don't think it's going to be the same thing on this end. Rodgers has played just about every single game for the past 3 to 4 seasons. He's been known to stay healthy. He's really going to be behind a great offensive line. It will happen. Yes, I do see them being stuck in that same quarterback cycle. But they are definitely the biggest threat in the AFC East this year, hands down. Biggest threat in the AFC East. You can't convince me otherwise. It's crazy. We have Calvin Tim coming in saying, I will cry if Caleb Williams goes to the Patriots. He went to high school where I am right now. That's awesome. Where at? I certainly would not want any star college quarterback going into my division. That is for sure. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to see. We have Cameron Forrester coming in. We also have to dial in the mental. Obviously, sounds like Josh had his distractions in the postseason, but we have to be on our best if we want to beat the best. I entirely agree with you. I'm glad that right now this man's full focus is going to be football going into the season. Let's hope he doesn't start dating one of the Kardashians or something, because we all know what they do, right to athletes. But yeah, I mean, some of the rumors I've heard of when everything hit the fan with him and his significant other happened to be during the Bengals game. He definitely wasn't the same Josh Allen, right? He definitely wasn't the same Josh Allen. I'm not putting that entire loss on Josh wholeheartedly or 100% of it. There's absolutely no way. But that defense definitely did not do us any favors either. I'm still looking at tape from this. I'm still rewatching that game and just cringing when I see DBs lined up 6-7 yards off the line of scrimmage, literally against Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. Come on, bro. What do you expect? What do you expect to happen? Completely wild. We have John Rage coming in saying, draft rollover and Klein to Cardinals for Hopkins and a 3rd-round pick. Oh, man. I'm not sure if you're talking about next year or if you're talking about this year toward the end of the season. Man, I would have loved Hopkins. I really bought into the hype. I really bought into the hype. I think after us signing Poona Ford in free agency, I think that's it. I mean, trust me, I would not be upset if we could do that right now and have him late join the Bills. It would be a Brandon Beane move where he just gets our hopes up really good and then nothing. But then all of a sudden he surprises us with that thing we got our hopes up with. Same thing with Stephon Diggs. I'm sure you guys remember the year before he came in 2019, there was rumors that we were pushing for Stephon Diggs, and everybody on Twitter had a heyday, was saying that they saw Diggs at Duff's, or they saw him this place, they saw him that place, and then it fizzled out. But then next offseason, boom, here you go. But unfortunately, I just don't see that going down. It's been make or break since 13 seconds. Inexcusable. Fog of war is no excuse for professionals. Gage, I agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you. I think that when it comes down to it, I think out of all the previous losses in the playoffs, I think it comes down into coaching. I think Josh Allen definitely had a little bit of a blame because he just couldn't get things going. There was some obvious reads during that playoff game that he just didn't execute on. But say that I had to put a blame on anything that bared the largest cross of both of our previous losses was coaching. 110%. 110% was coaching. Okay, so it looks like Caleb Williams went to Gonzaga. That's good. Okay, Nick C is coming in saying, and so Akko was seeking attention in the worst way with that list. Oh, man. Okay. And so the Bengals came in with what? The COVID Titans underdog mentality, with the tickets being sold prior, etc. And the professional men with that mindset, it's hard to beat. Yeah. I mean, honestly, they wanted it more than the Buffalo Bills. And so they definitely wanted it more. I mean, one thing I will say is that most NFL organizations have those tickets for sale. I think the media just sort of like used that and blew it up. And then, and so the Bengals saw it and they're like, okay, like let's just use this as fuel. But that's actually something pretty common when a team's in the playoffs. Like they'll sell tickets like into that previous game if they know it's going to be hosted, et cetera, et cetera. So did D-Hop get caught? Yeah, that was a couple of years ago. He only ended up just getting suspended for 6 games last year. 6 to 8 games, I want to say, for that. So definitely something interesting, which is usually an attempt to beat the test. This is recent. So DeAndre Hopkins just got smacked. No, I'm not seeing anything on the news or on Twitter. So we must be talking about the most previous incident when it came into it. So Gage came in and then says that 13 seconds isn't just one loss. It's mentally staying with these guys. And you can see it as soon as the playoffs hit, they change. I wonder if that's something that's like haunting their minds. I wonder if that's, what's that term? The yips, right? And because the Buffalo Bills had the yips that game, they really did, where they just completely lost their motivation to play the game. They forgot how to play football. Bunch of dumb mistakes, bunch of dumb coaching calls, consistency. It's been rough. It's been rough. What do you think about coaching? Anyone you would fire? As of right now, no. I wouldn't get rid of anybody going on into this season because I want to give a shot to Ken Dorsey. I really do. Last year, I know that he ended up getting a lot of criticism. He definitely did. But there's a couple of things I want to point out for anybody that was wanting to be a part of that camp of sending him up the river. Like, you're done, man. He still finished top 3 in total offense. He was slightly better than Dable from the year before in 2021 as far as stats are concerned. And it was his first year calling plays. Now, I think the big difference between those two, so between Dable and Dorsey, was the fact that those 50-50 plays, those big splash plays, like those massive deep balls, chunk plays, I feel like that the Dable plays just miraculously got executed more often than Dorsey's crazy plays got executed. And it was literally just a flip of the coin, in my opinion. I think it was just a flip of the coin when it came down into were these big chunk plays being complete, right? And I think normally when it's 50-50, right, like just based off of probability, that's why Dable looked better, because it was just pure probability, and then Dorsey just had a bit of bad luck. Yes, terrible play calling sometimes. I mean, I could think about the Miami Dolphins playoff game where dude literally just had Josh Allen attempt 3 straight bombs downfield. I mean, dude, switch it up a little bit. But I'm excited to see what Dorsey can do this year with Dalton Kincaid, who I think is going to be a day one contributor. I have never been this excited about a rookie in a very, very, very long time. I would say that I'm even more excited about Dalton Kincaid than I was Josh Allen going into his rookie year. I really was. I really am. Because I knew that Josh Allen was going to be a project. He was going to have to develop when we drafted him. Dalton Kincaid, man. Dalton Kincaid, I have a feeling that that man is going to be a day one contributor. So, long-winded answer to your question, Mason. No, I would not fire anybody on this coaching staff. I think Dorsey, I want to see what he's going to do with a run game now and with another threat right in the passing game. And then also a year for him to reflect on some of the dumb decisions that he was making throughout that entire situation. Let me see what else we got here, baby. I love this. I love when everyone comes in here and we talk. And so I know a while ago you said Frazier leaving was planned a while ago. Do you think his absence will have any impact on our defense? Yes. So long story short, I do think that the whole Frazier is stepping away on his own accord is absolute BS. Absolute BS. I think that that was just a way of showing respect. I think that it was sort of like a, hey, man, how about you just take a leave of absence and we'll call you when we need you. And they portrayed it to the media such as that. I don't think he'll ever be our defensive coordinator again. I just think that they owed him a lot because they thought that he did well when he could, especially in the regular season, but just couldn't get it done in the playoffs. I'm very excited to see what Sean McDermott can do. I don't think our personnel is going to falter at all. Under Sean McDermott. In fact, I liked his style of play calling when he was in Carolina. I think it was a bit more aggressive and not that soft, raggedy zone that we saw quite often from Leslie Frazier. I feel like our personnel is not going to falter at all. I'm actually very excited to see what McDermott can do. I don't see him being our defensive coordinator and head coach simultaneously more than this year. And then that whole finding a new defensive coordinator for the following off season is going to be an entire different conversation. But as of right now, I think that we'll be okay. I don't think we're no longer Super Bowl contenders after this year, even if we don't win. But I do agree with you, Dan, because I'm sick of sitting on the sidelines watching other teams play in the Super Bowl. You and I both, Mafia King. You and I both. And worst case scenario, say that you guys are getting in here late. I did end up starting off this episode with going through some of the pending free agents that the Buffalo Bills are going to be facing in 2024. And let me tell you what, a lot of notable names. I mean, since everybody's here, I'm just going to assume that some of you were here from the beginning, some of you were not. But here, I mean, once again, we can just go ahead and just throw this up here again, show you guys what we have. Okay, so this is 2023. We're going to 2024. And mind you, as of 2024 is set today, where our salary cap is, we're currently negative 24 million. I know Brandon Beane's going to be able to make fixes, but look at this. Micah Hyde, we have Daquan Jones, we have Ed Oliver, Tim Settle, Jordan Phillips, Tyler Matakevich, Dane Jackson, Terrell Dotson, Taylor Rapp, who we just ended up bringing in, right? So that's 2 safeties off the damn board. Now we just have Poyer. And then we also have DeMar Hamlin there as well. So that's going to be a massive hole for the Bills next year. We have Sherfield, who's only going to be here for 1 year. Damian Harris, who is supposedly going to be our answer to the power back running situation. Latavius Murray. Same with AJ Epinesa, who's been very damn good. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. And then Gabriel Davis, who's going to be yet another weapon that would ultimately end up disappearing. And then when you look at our damn... And so when you look at our salary cap next year too, we'd be lucky to bring back 2 of those pending free agents, 2 of them, maybe 3. I mean, I just rattled off, I would say 12 plus names of players that, in my opinion, play a pretty significant factor to our overall team, specifically defense and offense, So it's something to consider, man. It really is. Okay, we have Mason J coming in saying, do you think there is a problem at running back? I am hoping, based off of the two moves that we have made, the two moves that we made this offseason by bringing in Damian Harris, who has had problems staying healthy, but he is an absolute bowling ball. He's that power back that we absolutely need. Tremendous opportunity for us to establish that power game. And he's not just a one down back. He can essentially be your featured back if you wanted him to. He has that size. And then Latavius Murray, who is that short yardage situational sort of running back, absolute stud. You pair them behind Osiris Torrance, yeah, we might actually have a damn running game this year. We might, saying that these two stay healthy. Same with James Cook. I really want them to involve him a bit more in the passing game. 110%. Really want them to involve that man a little bit more. I mean, that's exactly why we drafted him. Same thing with Hines. Involve him, for the love of God. Involve him. He was known for being a pass-catching back. And then you just switch him over and, right to a kick returner. Come on. Use what you buy. Use what you buy. That's literally me buying a Traeger grill and me using it for and sort of store my tools or something like that. Completely out of left field. So definitely something I want to see implemented, but we'll see. Nick C's coming in saying, while Josh Allen is our quarterback, we will remain Super Bowl contenders, and Brandon Beane is too good at managing the cap, so we'll never have major holes. Listen, man. Josh Allen, yes. As long as he is under center, we are one of the better teams in the NFL. We are. We really, really are. I think that we're going to make the playoffs every single year that Josh Allen is our quarterback. 110%. As far as holes, there might not be enough dirt to fill them, going on into next year. We would need to strictly rely on our previous draft classes excelling and taking giant jumps and going, I'm talking with this draft class and next year's draft class, we need 75% of them to be playing at a third year's level in order, especially with our defensive tackles, especially with our safeties. If Gabe Davis is gone, we're just going to have to hope that our youth develops very well. That's all I got to say, because next year, don't be looking for any sort of splash free agency move, because unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen. Julio, my bad, man. Let me see if I got this. Julio, what up, man? Hey, Dan, love the show. How should we feel about the Miami Dolphins defense? I mean, it's definitely going to be something to, consider, man. I mean, they have Fangio, who is a terrible head coach, but great defensive coordinator. New defensive mind is probably going to make it a bit interesting with Jalen Ramsey. Although Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have had their share of success with him, that still adds another tool that defense can use, right? I mean, with him and X right on the opposite side, they ended up getting that one DB out of South Carolina who has worked out of the slot, who has worked on the outside as well, very fast. Their secondary is going to be great. Their pass rush is going to be relatively solid. I think their defense is going to be a challenge. I really do. I think that they'll probably finish top 5 next year. Same thing with the Jets. Same thing with the Bills. Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills, Jets, and the Dolphins finish in the top 5 for top scoring defenses, top overall defenses. It's going to be something to consider, right? But where I see us over the Dolphins is the fact that I just definitely choose our quarterback, and I definitely choose our offensive line over that. I do think that we're a bit more well-balanced, and I think Sean McDermott's a better coach, but I don't know. That's where I am at. Okay. Hey, Dan, what did you take from Diggs freaking out end of season? Do you see that as a possible issue this season if Josh Allen gets injured from running the ball? Yeah, man. I mean, that's an iconic image of Diggs being mad at Josh Allen. And I mean, rightfully so. I mean, he was not the quarterback that everybody knew. And like I said, all of these rumors are alleged right now. Each and every single one of these rumors are alleged that apparently Josh Allen ended up breaking up with his girlfriend, or she found out about something that he did the night before the Bengals game, or he was going through something very personal the night before that playoff game. Some people were suggesting that Diggs was yelling at him for not being able to focus on football and deal with the personal stuff after like business from there. I mean, I think both of them are completely fine. I think they still have like a great relationship. I think Stephon Diggs has gotten over it. I really do. I just hope that his hunger is still there. We still have him under contract for the next 2 to 3 years, like really depending on whether or not that we plan on extending the guy. I don't really see a good situation for him to go over. I mean, unless he just wants to pull like a LeBron James and go over to Kansas City or something like that. I think he likes the culture a lot. I think that he likes that the team still has him as the number one receiver, and he's absolutely killing it in stats, man. Like 3 years in a row, like well over 1,000 yards receiving. I feel like he loves Buffalo. I feel like that's exactly what he's going to do. Sal's coming in saying that Dolphins fans are delusional, looking for 5 primetime games. They'll definitely have a couple. I'm thinking 3. And so I'm thinking 3 for them. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to have like 5 or 6 this year, like usual. I think the Jets are going to have quite a few this year too. I mean, I'm just sitting here trying to think about hey, what game is going to be in London and how the hell am I getting there? How the hell am I getting to London this year, baby? That's what I'm talking about. But the Jets is ridiculous. Yeah, lucky us. Yeah. And so the Jets defense is crazy. Literally every single defense that we play in our division is going to be, oh my God, man. Honestly, just be on the lookout for divisional games to be fucking very, very low scoring. As much as I want to be excited about like Bills, Dolphins, Bills, Jets, Bills, Patriots, just look for them all to be boring as hell. Like low scoring, like you leaving, being like, what's wrong with our offense? Like they're good defenses, every single one of them in this division. It's how it is. I mean, we just sort of, we were just dealt a bad hand. At the end of the day. Sal says that Dorsey needs to outcoach these defensive teams. It's on him. He absolutely does, and he has all the tools that he was missing last year. He has 2 running backs that are able to actually establish a power run scheme. We now have an offensive guard that is known for his run blocking. And then we also have a tight end that is arguably the next Travis Kelce, allegedly. So this guy has everything he needs. He has no excuse. He has the personnel. And Josh Allen just needs to focus on him and not any of the women. If we get a London game, I am going to 110%. I will consider that to be one of my away games that I have to go into. Okay, man, watch the Dolphins defense still be trash this year, even with Vic Fangio as their defensive coordinator, as they added washed up Jalen Ramsey, who never beat Josh Allen at all in his career. Not scared of Miami. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. Last comment I'm going to read, and then I'm going to Dipset, ladies and gentlemen. Have a couple more things I got to work on. But let's not forget the Bills currently have 10 picks in next year's draft. And you know Bean is going to trade a few guys that won't make the 53. That's how we maintain an influx of talent. Nick, I love it, man. Spreading that positivity. Never doubt Brandon Bean. He's going to be able to make all this happen. And I think that we will be fine. But we got to win this damn Super Bowl this year, y'all. Like, not even so much about, like, the whole window concern, but the fact that I want this damn Super Bowl. I feel like more than I want to breathe, to be honest with you. Well, whatever, I digress. Thank you so much for tuning in. Norm, I'm glad you came in. Sorry you missed out, my friend. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Just a couple of reminders. I do want to say I am going live every single Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST, breaking late NFL news. I'm having guests on. Some of your favorite YouTubers are going to be on there an entire hour. Say that you guys want to tune in, join me. I like to think I put on a pretty good show. So go ahead and just set your notifications for me, because YouTube likes to sort of sporadically notify you when I am going live. So check that out. Follow me on Twitter as well, in case you ever wanted to engage with me over Twitter. Send me some things. I love that. Check out Man Cave Fine Art. I will put that in the pinned comment once I finish this out. Have a bunch of very cool artwork that you can hang in your man cave. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.